Today, we're diving deep into a story that's not just about bullets and betrayal. It's about a soul that was completely shattered and then rebuilt by trauma. This is a journey into a heart literally frozen by loss and a hatred that burns colder than any winter storm. Let's get into it.
Right there. That's the story of Alaric Kurt, and that one sentence is the key to his entire world. You have to understand, the man he was, Captain Alaric Kurt, he absolutely ceased to exist on that mountain. What was left was something else, something born of ice and vengeance.
So how did it all go so wrong? We have to start at the source of the trauma. An event so devastating it didn't just end lives, it completely erased one man's future and replaced it with a single, all-consuming obsession.
Okay, so picture this. It's 2029. Captain Alaric Kurt and his elite team, the Silver Claw, are high up in the northern border mountains. Their mission? To oversee what they think are peace talks. And with him is his sister, Lieutenant Elara, the team's medic. But here's the thing. The peace was a lie. It was a stage, perfectly set for a massacre.
From Alaric's own perspective, his entire world just ends. An explosion rips through the air, throwing him into the snow. He's wounded, disoriented, but his eyes lock onto one single image. The enemy commander, General Varric, standing over his sister. He sees Varric raise a silver-gripped pistol, sees that chilling, empty smile, and then the flash. In that exact moment, Captain Alaric Kurt died, and the ghost was born.
The man who managed to crawl out of that snow was not the same one who fell. You see, the next 3 years weren't about healing. Oh no, they were about reforging that unbearable pain into a weapon. His grief became his fuel. His trauma became his map.
And what's so fascinating here is just how stark this contrast is. On one side, you've got the man he was, a leader, a brother, officially declared killed in action. And on the other side, you have the reality, a phantom, living completely off-grid, his body a roadmap of scars, his entire existence laser-focused on tracking one man, General Varric, who, by the way, is now celebrated as a national hero, living in a fortress that's supposed to be impenetrable.
So this new identity he's taken on, it needed a new tool. Alaric spent years building it. He calls it the Silent Lament. Now this isn't just a rifle, it's a physical manifestation of his mission. Every single piece was scavenged, every component meticulously put together in the freezing solitude of the mountains. This rifle isn't just an extension of his will, it is his will, forged into a cold, precise instrument of revenge.
And this detail. This just shows you the sheer depth of his obsession. This isn't just about killing Varric, it's a ritual. He painstakingly engraves the name of each fallen Silver Claw member onto a bullet. It's an act of remembrance. It's a promise. And that very last bullet, the one that truly matters, has only one name on it: Elara.
With his purpose clear and his weapon ready, all those years of waiting are about to culminate in a single night. All Alaric needs now is the perfect opportunity to walk right into the heart of the beast, the Iron Fortress.
On the night of Varric's big promotion ceremony, the storm of the century hits. For literally anyone else, it's a barrier, a complete lockdown. But for Alaric, it's a formal invitation. The raging blizzard out there perfectly mirrors the absolute tempest raging inside his soul. The chaos of nature becomes his greatest ally, a perfect cloak of wind and snow to hide a ghost.
To become truly invisible, Alaric embraces the cold in the most extreme way possible. He injects himself with a serum that drops his body temperature to near-fatal levels, making him a ghost to thermal sensors. He's literally becoming as cold on the outside as he is on the inside, pushing his body to the absolute edge of death. One mistake, and the cold he's using as a weapon will kill him long before he reaches his target.
The infiltration begins. The serum is coursing through his veins, forcing his body into these violent, uncontrollable shivers that threaten to just tear him apart. But beneath all that failing flesh, his mind is like a perfect shard of ice, focused, clear, and cold. He's no longer just moving through the storm. At this point, he is the storm.
Every breath he takes is a cloud of mist in the air, a potential betrayal he has to carefully control, releasing it ever so slowly into the howling wind. He slips between patrol routes, not like a man who's hiding, but like a gap in the storm itself, a flicker in the corner of a guard's eye. He's more a force of nature than a man now.
The guards,
they feel nothing. Maybe a sudden, unnatural draft on their necks, a cold that seems to seep right into their bones just before the darkness takes them. There's no sound, no struggle, just the silent, efficient work of a phantom who has spent years studying every shadow, every single blind spot of this fortress.
He reaches Varric's private balcony, as the general is inside celebrating his victory, completely unaware. The cold steel of the silent lament rests on the railing just outside. Death is watching.
So, this is it. The moment everything has been building towards. The final confrontation. But what happens when 3 years of burning hatred are finally unleashed? What's left in the silence that follows?
As Alaric slips from the balcony into the warmth of the room, that's the question just hanging in the air. He lowers his rifle. This isn't going to be some distant execution. No, this has to be personal.
Varric turns, his face twisting from shock to pure terror as he recognizes the ghost from his past. He desperately reaches for his sidearm, but Alaric is just faster. In one fluid motion, he breaks the general's arm, forces him to his knees, and takes that silver-gripped pistol, Elara's murder weapon, from Varric's own belt.
And just like that, the celebrated hero is a begging coward. He's offering wealth, status, anything a living man might want. But Alaric is way beyond that. He leans in close, and he whispers the last words Varric will ever hear. Elara is waiting for you. The final shot isn't from his rifle. It's from the very gun that started it all. The next morning, the fortress is in chaos. General Varric is dead, but this wasn't an assassination for political gain or some robbery. Nothing was taken. Instead, laid out perfectly on his desk were 8 dog tags, the dog tags of the fallen Silver Claw team. A message was sent. Justice was served.
The mission is over. The name is crossed off the list. But what comes after vengeance? I mean, what does a ghost do when his haunting is finally complete?
As Alaric just melts back into the mountains, he feels the physical weight of his rifle, now unneeded, has lessened. But that weight on his soul, that massive void left by his sister, it's exactly the same. The act of revenge was a destination. It was never a cure.
And that, right there, is the crucial point. This 3-year quest gave him purpose. It gave a name to his pain. He called it Varric. But once Varric was gone, the pain was still there, now nameless and vast all over again. He had avenged the dead, sure, but vengeance can't bring people back. It couldn't bring them back, and more importantly,